Hi, I'm Vicky. I love books and enjoy reading. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is to read. If I go for a run, I listen to an audiobook. In my leisure moments, I read whilst enjoying some good music. Are you an avid reader or you're not learning how to read? Maybe you used to enjoy reading, but somehow it has become a thing of the past. Come on this journey with my guests and I as we dive into various books and themes these books talk about. Every week, I speak to various authors who are behind life-transforming books, as well as promote various stakeholders within the publishing industry. The Kiddie Zone segment on the show is meant specifically to ignite reading interest in your child. Watch the Writer's Blog on this station, this and every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. and on Sunny 88.7 FM every Saturday at 1 p.m. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia and supported by The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind.
Hello and welcome to the Writer's Blog talk show right here on this channel. Remember, this program is designed to celebrate authors and their works. We are also seeking to promote other stakeholders within the publishing industry. We are proudly powered by Reveal Multimedia Limited and supported by Concilio, Caris Books, Ako Books Audio, Anyedu, Challenge Enterprises of Ghana, Cody's Beauty and Fashion GH, Side Farm, FC, Veric Clothing, and La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. We are coming to you live from La Palm. If you're looking for that wonderful place, serene environment, good food, nice music, make sure you're making your way here. Number on your screen, place that call. Today we are honored to have Dr. Abena Asomaning Antwi. It's been very, difficult getting her here, but finally, back and forth, she's made it. And we are going to be sharing from 4 of her books, Purposeful Chaos, and this one is amazing, Chicken Soup for Your Soul, all about poems and some more. It's the lighter side of her. And then we have a feature in here, Who Moved My Heels. And then, of course, the side we choose to see. When we are back from this break, it's going to be a 2-part series right here on the show. We'll dive more into these amazing books. Stay with us.
There are many who have gone to their graves with untold stories. Stories meant to change and transform lives. Don't let that happen to you. If a story isn't you, it has to come out. It must be told. Do you have an idea or a life-transforming story to share? Do you want to write a book but don't know how? Let the expert writers at Reveal Multimedia help you out. Are you a preacher with a desire to convert your sermons into books and other readable materials? Reveal Multimedia offers efficient and on-time audio-to-text transcription services at a very affordable price. We also transcribe interviews, documentaries, etc. We offer other editorial services such as editing and proofreading. That's not all. At Review, the author and his or her book are our priority. We are the brain behind the Writer's Blog, a book review program which airs on Sunny FM and Sunny TV, meant to celebrate authors and their works, as well as promote other stakeholders in the publishing industry. We offer PR services for authors with top-notch publicists who create thrilling stories, book reviews and commentaries, organize book launches and related events to provide mileage on all meaningful media platforms for the author and their works. Call on us today to help bring every creative idea to life. For more information, call, text or send a WhatsApp message to 0552 535 036 or 0208 428 322. Send us an email, revealmultimediagh@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Reveal Multimedia GH. Our website is www.revealmultimediagh.com. Reveal Multimedia, dreams come alive.
So welcome back. It is the Writer's Blog Talk Show right here on this channel. Our quote for today, and I'm picking it from President Zodi's quote. It's just a portion of it right here in the book. It says, strength, resilience, and power are all learned and accumulated over time. The more you know about yourself, excel at the work you do, and understand the world you live in, the more you realize how nothing worthwhile in life comes without a fight and a lot of patience. This one sums up Dr. Abena Asomaning Antwi. Just telling you something little about her. She is a mother, wife, and an award-winning humanitarian, academic, and prolific writer with many publications to her credit. She has a Ph.D. in health economics from the University of Lille, I hope France, and also an MBA from the UK and BSc in development planning from KNUST right here in Ghana. Currently, she is the managing director of the Africa Environmental Sanitation Consult in Ghana and lectures at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, now UPSA, on international business management, leadership, and entrepreneurship. Dr. Antwi is a leading voice for human rights, leadership management, and entrepreneurship. She believes that women will have a fair chance of being positive change agents and leaders when given the appropriate support systems and resources. Her NGO, the Angel Zoe Foundation, has responded to the needs of women and juveniles in prison and other minority vulnerable groups. For 15 years, she has designed and implemented capacity building programs for prison inmates on entrepreneurship and human rights, training programs for security sector staff, and disbursed small grants to ex-convicts upon discharge from reintegration processes. She's into so much, and I thank God for her life. Now, for her outstanding humanitarian work with women and contributions towards development in Ghana, she received the MTN Heroes of Change Award for Social Protection in 2014 and the Points of Light Award from the Queen of England in 2018. In addition, the President of France recognized her contributions at the Femme de Joux, I don't know if I'm getting that right, for women achievers in Africa in 2019. When I grow up, I want to be like Dr. Abena Antwi. So good to have you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank
wow,
you very much.
I mean, going through all this, I'm just wondering, how do you do it? How do you combine all the things you're doing?
It's one word, grace.
Yeah.
Yes. The grace of God is sufficient. So yes, I'm able to do all of this. And it's a lot of, in practical terms, a lot of time management and prioritization.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is awesome indeed. I want us to just so you know, we're starting with this particular one, Purposeful Chaos. And I love the subtitle. It says, move from it can be to it has been done. What inspired this particular piece?
This book is a mini autobiography of sorts, which captures my journey from 2015 to 2019 when I pursued my doctoral studies in France. And it's such that it was an interesting journey, you know, mixed with all sorts of emotions, a mixture of, it's a mixed bag of emotions, of demands, of self-reflection, of so many things. And I thought that the story must be told because just as you asked, how do you do it? As I was on the journey, a lot of women who also felt like they could or they should pursue such a journey kept on asking, how did you do it? And I thought, well, so there must be a constituency out there that would be interested in the story being told. And so I thought I should write it.
Beautiful indeed. It's about 6 chapters. We have about 168 pages there about. And I love the nuggets that come after every single chapter. Share about growing up. How was it like for you?
Growing up, I was raised in a very happy home.
Okay.
My parents have, well, we have 4 girls, 4 daughters, and of course we had other family members who lived with us.
Okay.
And my mom, God bless her, she was the centerpiece of our home. She was the joy of our home. A woman who, very beautiful woman, with a sense of humor that's unparalleled.
Okay.
And we were blessed to have her. My father, I take take my tenacity from my father, actually.
Wonderful.
And his discipline and everything else. And my sisters and I, we are very well bonded. In fact, we are best friends to each other. To date, there isn't a day that passes by that we don't speak.
Wow.
We speak every day. We are trying to build that same kind of culture also with our children. And so I had a very good upbringing, discipline, of course. We were an average home, you know, an average income, middle income family, but we had aspirations and we were encouraged to pursue our dreams. And my father didn't, in bringing us up, my parents didn't give us that, you know, you're a girl, so you don't do this. We were all that he had. So, for instance, if it came to changing his car tire, we were trained to do that.
Wow.
Yes. Ironing his trousers, he says, no double line. Today we laugh about it. You know, because it's got to be only one line. And so he taught us how to, you know, you put the two legs together and then measure and then you iron. So we had that kind of discipline.
Wow.
But we had a happy home. It was a Christian home, and a lot of the ideals I've had, I carry today are from, I went to secondary school in Nebri Girls.
Okay.
Yes, Purposeful, for all those who are watching, I'm representing. We had very good training in there. Okay. I started writing earlier when I was younger. I was quite an introvert, so I used to sit by myself and write.
Okay.
But that my natural talent was polished when I went to Nebri Girls. Yes, we had the Writers and Debaters Club. Eventually, I became the president of that club. Okay. But the things that they used to teach us in that club helped me a lot in who I am today as an author. Yes.
And you write so beautifully. In fact,
thank you.
These amazing books, once we are done, you get to know how much it costs, where you can get copies, and you understand what I'm talking about. You will definitely, truly be blessed. Let's talk about education and then work.
As I mentioned, I had my secondary education in Nebri Girls, senior high at the time. And I moved on to KNUST, where I was with the planning department. Okay. Yes, so I specialized in policy analysis. And that was an interesting course. It was a course that almost all the females ran away from. Yeah. Yes, it's a tough one. And I remember, I think my class we were over 60. There were only about 7 females. Wow. Yes, and we stayed on course with the men, and of course we did our best. Yes, I pursued my master's in United Kingdom, University of Lincolnshire, and then of course I came back to Ghana, worked for a number of years, and then moved on to France to pursue my PhD.
Your PhD.
Yes.
But deciding to do your PhD, which is what really this book is about, how difficult was it, or should I say easy? Because in the end of the book, you are like, you would not change a thing. You didn't, and I'm like, really? With all the issues that you went through?
Of course. I mean, once you've had the crown, you look back and say, well, will I do it again? And I think I would do it again. Of course, I would do a few. I may modify my approach to certain parts differently, but the experience in itself, I would do again. The motivation to go on this journey stemmed from many factors. Before the thought came, I had worked with women, as you mentioned, with Angel Zoe Foundation, where I'd worked with women in and out of prison, and was on a path of empowerment, of education, of imparting knowledge to women and young girls. So I had a little bit of work done in terms of one of my educational programs with the French government. And so when the opportunity for scholarship came, I qualified, and I thought, the tension then was between leaving work, leaving my children, going out of the country, you know, and then, of course, the duration of the program. I mean, you don't do PhD in 1 year. You know, so it was a tough one. So when I applied for the scholarship and I got notification that I had it, I had to make the tough decision to go. When I say tough because I had my son at the time, the last one was
8 months.
He was about 8 months old. Luckily, he had weaned himself off me. I think around 4 months. He wasn't a baby who liked breast milk a lot.
Okay.
Yes, he liked proper food. Strange. So that part was manageable.
Okay.
But the tough part is still, I'm leaving my family behind, and what am I going to do? But eventually, in consultation with appropriate stakeholders, I came around to the decision that you must go. First, you don't get the opportunity to pursue higher education sponsored by a government.
Yeah.
And the other part, which was also challenging, was I don't speak French.
Yeah.
I don't speak French very well.
Very foreign language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the language barrier. And I said, well, let me still go. If I fail, I fail. But I'm not one who fails, actually. Everything I put my hand to, I succeed at.
Yeah.
So finally, the decision was made. And I initially, for the first year, I had the support of my mother. And, of course, my nanny at the time. And, of course, my husband then. And so it's encouraged me to go on and pursue my dreams.
In the book, you talked about how some people actually sought to discourage you from going all out to do it.
Yes. I had a few women, older women, who some were in the family, who approached me. And I remember one question that one of them asked and said, so who's going to take care of your husband? So I said, wow, not even the children. The husband, you know, and this gives you a certain idea of the society we're living, you know, and once I was okay with that, and then there were also other concerns. You have a master's, you're already working, you seem to be on a path. What else do you need? Are you not being greedy? Why can't you be content with this little that you have? And I said, you know, you can't go higher than where God has placed you. And once he gave me that opportunity, which was a rare opportunity, it meant that God wanted me to go. And so was I going to forsake that and not go? And I had to put together my social system, support system together very well. Because you don't want to be there with one leg back here or part of your brain left back home, and you can't pursue the course that you are intended to. So I tried to do all of that in terms of food, in terms of the children's upkeep, everything. In fact, even with my NGO, the major stakeholders I communicated with. And the idea was that I chose a part of a course called co-tutel, which essentially is you spend part in France, part in Ghana. So you are given a bit of time off to come. But my research was to be in Ghana. And so I would be gone, but I would be here. Like,
intermittently.
It's intermittently, yes.
And it did work. I love the part where she had to sit her children down and say, look, this is it. Mommy has to do this. And you really have to do it when you have to do it. I'm so encouraged by this one. When we are back, we're diving more into her life and stay in France. In fact, her first night, the encounter, something else. Remember, it's the Writer's Block Talk Show right here on this channel.
Asante from Anyedu. Anyedu is a children's company, a multimedia children's company that wants to help parents to raise successful and blessed kids. We believe that all children have potential and it has to be unleashed. So we are helping parents to unleash this potential, and especially for us as Africans, we believe that this is our time. This is when we can make an impact in this world. We want to raise a new generation of strong, confident, bold African children who would change the world, change the narrative of an African in the world. We are starting from Ghana. We are hoping that we will be able to reach the whole of Africa and let the children know that, look, they can do anything that they want to do, because through Christ all things are possible.
Welcome back. It's still the Writers Block Talk Show right here. We're coming to you live from La Palm, Royal Beach Hotel. We want to say a very big thank you to all our partners for holding us down. We're here with Dr. Abena, discussing from 4 of her books. This is just part 1. And right now we're discussing Purposeful Chaos. Now, Dr. Abena, your life in France. And I'd like to share from this point, which is a foreign land, a foreign culture, chapter 3. So as the time for action finally arrived, I arrived in Lille. I hope I'm getting that right. Lille. A beautiful city on site. As part of my preparation, I had generated a map to guide me to the residence assigned. I remember arriving close to evening, tired after pulling my single but heavy luggage. The first thing I noticed was how unhelpful people were as I tried asking for directions to the specific residential block. It was a big students' campus. The mistake I made was in boarding a taxi right from the station. I would have arrived at my destination earlier and without the distress yet to be narrated. I must mention here that I spoke very little French, and my attempt to seek support from passerbys in English must have been unnerving to them. Just to say, tell us what actually really happened, because you needed to even just rest for that day, and finding your room or getting that accommodation at the time was an issue.
Yeah. For me, the station was quite far from, or the station is quite far from the university.
Okay.
And had I known or had I been educated a little bit about it, I would have taken a taxi, given them the address, and they would have dropped me in front of the residence. Okay. But getting to know the system later, I realized that even that wouldn't have helped, because once I even got to the residence, the arrangements, specific arrangements had not been made. Once you get the notification of the residence and you get to the country and you get on campus, you still have to go to an office. But you see, I arrived close to evening, and so the offices were closed. And so I needed a place to lay my head immediately. I was just, now, back to the language and asking questions. The first shock I had was the fact that the French people are very proud of their language, of their culture. So you would ask, please, could you direct me to this? And I would be pointing it. Je n'ai pas compris. I mean, so how did you understand that I'm asking you for you to say you don't understand?
Yeah.
Je n'ai pas compris for what? I mean, so you can imagine I was tired. I was pulling this huge suitcase, and I think that was also one of the dumbest things I did. I packed really well because I checked the weather and it was going to be cold. I packed a whole lot. I had Gary in there. I had everything.
Fully prepared.
So you can understand. And if anybody had told me to put any of the things down because I needed a lighter bag, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I was exhausted, my back, everything. Lille is about a little over an hour or so from Paris.
Okay.
You know, so that meant that I had gone on Air France to Paris and then through a train.
Wow.
So it wasn't just a short journey.
Yeah.
And then my narration is from the train station to the residence.
Wow.
So I was exhausted. So anyone I would stop, please, this is the address, could you, je n'ai pas compris. Je n'ai pas compris. And even the speed with which they were speaking, I couldn't hear anything. And I just wanted to be. So I started panting. I was, in the cold weather, I was sweating. I was tired. Eventually, when I got to the room, and that was another dramatic, they are suckers for documentation. So my specific room allocation should have been done.
Okay.
If I had arrived earlier, I would have gone to that resident's office. They would have done that to allocate. Okay, so eventually this person at the reception gives me a room and then says you are going to have to rectify the administrative part subsequently. So when I entered my room, a tiny room,
that's when you broke down.
I think it was everything together. It wasn't the size of the room.
It was the
frustration.
Before.
It was the sudden acknowledgement that what are you putting yourself into?
It just hit you.
And then I just sat on the bed and I started crying. I'm like, what am I? This is day one. This is day one. This is Je n'ai pas comprendre people and everything else. This is just day one. How was I going to go over the next day with these people not speaking English? And I had so much documentation. You have to register. The accommodation was there. Setting up a bank account, all sorts. So it was part of the reason why I cried.
It's amazing, really. Remember, we are here with Dr. Abena Antwi. We are discussing from her book, Purposeful Chaos. Apart from the language barrier, what other thing was quite striking or a challenge for you?
Not much in terms of the environment, because I'd been to France several times before I went there. But you see, there's always a distinction. I mentioned that in the book. There's a distinction between being a tourist and resident.
That's right.
People confuse it. So when you say, oh, France is a beautiful place, or Ghana is a beautiful place. When people come to Ghana, Ghana is a beautiful place, they go straight to Osu. Osu High Street. Is that Ghana, really? It is only part of Ghana. So to live here, then you will understand the real issues. And that distinction I needed to make. So I sort of I was okay with the weather. I was okay with the food. I'm not really, I'm a picky eater, but I'm not really big on food.
Speaking of food,
yes,
you said you ate cake every single day.
Oh, yes. Unapologetically. Unapologetically.
The French pastries were your thing.
I mean, look, I could enter the mall and I would go to the patisserie and everything. And I took time to find which shop was selling what. Wow. If you are bored, what else are you going to do? You make time and research and go there and find out. And I took time out to, I mean, already in Ghana, I loved cakes. I bake.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So, but that's a different level. Vicky, it's, look, the French, I can almost taste.
Even the description you gave for the cakes in the...
And they take their time. It's like they are romanticizing the flour. They approach what they do. Everything is delicate. And so, look, I had a fun time. The funny part is that you see me like this. This is the fattest I have been. And in France, at the time, I was like maybe a dress lower than this, a dress size lower than this. And I was considered overweight.
That issue, I didn't understand.
Exactly. In the French culture, so, you know, these high street brands, the Zara, Mango, and all of that, they all have sizes. But you can have a UK size, but a UK size 12 and a France or a French size 12, you would see a little difference. Because they have slim physique, even the men.
Wow.
Even the men, they all have a certain tall look and slim look, right? And part of the course or part of the requirements for my scholarship was to have the medicals done. So you would go, once you get in, you would have the test done. And then once you are coming back, you would also have a test done, right? Yeah. So it was during those times that they say, you are overweight, you have to lose weight, you're overweight, and you have to lose weight. And then I would come to Ghana and be like, oh, I don't want food, sir. You know? And I remember somebody told me once that, you know, you're too slim to be wearing these cabin slit things. As for cabin slit, you need body. You need body.
Oh my.
You know, so the culture shock, it's also a thing. But it was based on medical stuff, your height. They'll check your weight, your height, and check that, you know, the BMI and say, oh, you're overweight. But when you also go into the shops, you realize that your size 12 isn't fitting. Like you go and try, and I'm typically a 10 and a 12, but I'm mostly 12. 12, okay. And I'll go into a shop, I will try it, and it won't fit. Their clothes won't fit. Wow. So there are all these interesting dimensions to it. But I still didn't stop eating the flour stuff.
Remember, we are here with Dr. Abena Antwi. We are discussing from her book, Purposeful Chaos. Another shock it was the bureaucracy, and of course, petite pause and racism. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I was never fooled about the fact that there could be racism. And racism, you know, in our modern day, we try not to talk about racism. Yeah. We make it seem or sound as if it's an old thing. But even blacks, even as we are racist. I mean, why do we even have to separate people when we see fair-skinned people? So, Bruni, why is that an issue? Should we not be thinking another human being? Because we still see the differences. Right, okay. And so I didn't experience the racism so much within the school environment. It was the systems attached, like the transport system.
Okay.
I remember one time, there's a colleague of mine, he's now at, he works at the University of Ghana. Okay. He was also a student there. Okay. And I remember us being on the train from school to the shopping mall. And it was about maybe just about 12 minutes ride. Okay. And they would have these policemen who would come on board sometimes. They check for immigration purposes, you know, because they have problems with the Algerians and all those North African countries, people who go in illegally. Okay. So I remember how we would get on the train, and a few times I noticed that once we got there and we tried to sit, the white French people would move.
Get up.
Yes. At first I thought, well, let's see, this is not how it is. Then a few times I would notice that they would move. When you go to sit, it might be a whole seat like this, and you go and sit, and then the person who is sitting here would move. So I'm thinking, do I look like an arm robber? But then it was all those subtle things over there. Whenever the authorities got on the train, you wouldn't see them going straight to the fair-skinned people. And it is strange, because you have people from Morocco, Algeria, all those people being fair-skinned. Not black, but they are from Africa. But you see that they move more towards those who look like me. And so that was also one
but
other...
But you're not dark, you're chocolate, sort of.
Don't you get it? You are not a brony. So even if you are as fair as whatever, you are a black-skinned person. So those were some of the subtle things that we had. Okay. Now then to the issue of petit pose.
Oh, that's what it is. I did not petit pose. I had petit pose. Petit pose. Okay, what is that?
Small break. Petit, small, pause. See, so petit pose. And
I see it worried you a lot.
Because I thought, what is this? I mean, British, English trained people, we work. Break time, we go. These people, and God bless them, because they would come in during the session. It's a health thing too. You see, later I came to appreciate it, because you can't be sitting and working continuously, brain work,
for a long
and not take a break. So they'll come in and they say, petit pause, pour café, petit pause pour fumer. Fumer is for those who want to smoke, and the coffee, so coffee break, smoking break, sometimes just a break, you know. So they'll keep coming in and out. Initially, I was irritated by it, because I'm like, if I'm going to go with petit pause, almost every hour petit pause,
you're not getting much
when will I write? When will I go for my lectures, come and sit and think? When will I research? You know, so initially, I was going with the flow. Then when I gave myself timelines to finish my PhD, I said, enough petit pause. I'll do petit pause maybe twice before or once before lunch. And then twice between, and I told you, I mentioned the lunchtime too, which was weird, 11:20, every day, 11:20. I don't understand that. But so between, let's say I get back by 12:30, between 12:30 and say 6 p.m. that I'll leave the office, I also give myself just about 2 other petit pauses. Otherwise, virtually every other, maybe 45 minutes, they'll come, petit pause, pull this, petit pause, pull this. And everybody sort of gets up to go. And then, so you find us in, we have this small cell. It's like an office, a space for smoking and then for coffee. But it's a good thing, because if we incorporated that, of course, minus the number of productivity and hours that you have to take, then it's a healthy way to approach working. Because your legs get numb without you knowing. You are sitting down is unhealthy, and we only get up sort of to use the washroom, but you should get up to just move for fresh air, something, you know. So petit pause, it's a cultural thing. I mean, it was also a shock, for instance, that lunchtime, the supervisors, the faculty, our lecturers and all those other people having wine with lunch. Yes, and, oh, do you want a glass of wine? I'm like, aren't people going to get drunk? You know, it's the middle of the day. But it works. Look, it works. And it's all their laid-backness, which we don't have. But it's a French cultural thing. Because I also noticed that same attitude differential between myself and my Ivorian colleagues who were being sponsored by the same director.
Okay.
And as I was very structured and kind of, I would call
Organized.
it assertive,
Okay.
they were laid back. They were laid back. So I met some in the course, and I left some there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, PhD, you can't say, when I meet people and they ask, so when are you finishing your PhD? And people who are already in the system will start laughing, because we know that you don't ask people pursuing a doctoral studies that question. We don't know when we are finishing. You can only tell yourself, based on the work you've done, the percentage of work done, right? Exactly.
It's amazing and it's fun. I wish I were there. But the challenges, though, and how you were able to brace yourself through it. Another aspect is the sex and all these euphoria that, was about sex and all of that, including this young chap who tried something with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Who tried, what Nigerians would say, who tried toasting me?
Yeah.
I suppose the way I look didn't also help a lot. I look younger than my age, so...
yeah, very sweet, actually.
Thank you. And so I looked perhaps more like the undergrads, right? And you would find me in the kitchen cooking, and I would prepare my groundnut soup and stuff, which I thought was fascinating for them, right? And then every time they would come, I also tried practicing my French, because it's a lonely place. If you're not careful, you move from the office to your residence to the shopping center and come back, you may not. And I was now trying to make friends. So this young man, who were on the same floor, or he was on the floor above mine, he would come in sometimes cooking and say, can he taste my food? And then I'll let him taste plantain and all of that. He would taste and all. And then one of the days, he knocked on my door. So he knocked on my door, I think it was midnight. It was late in the night. So I was scared. First I was scared. I'm like, who's going to knock on my door? Of all the rooms, because mine was sort of in the middle. You have to pass in front of other rooms to get to mine. So I'm like, who knocked on my door? And he said, it was him. What do you want? In the middle of the night.
Thank God you didn't open the door.
No, but I mean, it was the fact that in Africa we would have thought that is Obeyfo or something. Like a witch or a wizard. What come to midnight? And so I was scared. But once I realized what the intent was, then I got disgusted. I'm thinking, I am somebody's mama.
I was just wondering, didn't they see the ring?
People are wearing rings these days for different reasons. The fact that you have a ring, except for how it looks, somebody could be wearing this and not really be married. So it could be a fashion thing. But we had spoken about my family situation before. So I have the thing that he knew what he was trying to do, And once I showed my anger and I was, I was disgusted.
You said you couldn't share what you said to him.
I was being very nice in the book. I can't say all the things. I mean, when you get there in the school environment and the stress, you tend to swear a little bit. I'm trying to purge myself of that now. I'm a human being. So, but I was so angry. First, I don't sleep very well. So what is this midnight call or whatever for, But subsequently, and with all that, I think now, when I got into the system, I realized that they are very sexualized people, and it's a French culture. It's no big deal. English, we tend to be a little hypocritical.
We do it in secret.
Exactly. The French, so they are kissing and they are kissing. They are hugging and they are hugging. I already wrote about our kissing thing, right? Every person that you meet. Yes.
I wonder how they survived in COVID.
Didn't you realize that during the COVID time, when the government put a ban on kissing in France, it became a problem? Yes, they wanted to go on demonstration for it. Yes, because how can you meet anybody and not kiss them? I kiss my children in a day. Every child must be receiving a minimum 25 kisses. So that's what I've brought back with me.
Oh my!
So they are touchy-feely, So the hugging, the kissing. I mean, and so initially I would just do because from the English background, we are not really big on this whole kissing stuff. Then when you finish, you think you finished, and the person is giving you another one. Then you think you are finished, and then they give you another. I'm like, so I asked them, how many times do I have to kiss one person? They said, oh, some do it too. Some parts of the country, they kiss 3 times. Then the other parts, there are 4. So I'm like, wow. So in a day, if I'm meeting 50 people, multiply that by 4 kisses. That's a lot of kissing. But it helped us bond. You know, as students, it helped us bond. Those who are not even your friends, when you meet them, you are kissing. And so when you meet them at different seminars and stuff, you've already, you know, we do that already.
Yeah.
Even with our supervisors, even my supervisor, Professor Bruno.
Wow.
You know, and it's so normal. So I'm like, wow. Ghana, we are not kissing that much. We are deficient in kissing. Yeah, so the cultural things were there. There are so many positives to it. There are so many negatives. I mean, the bureaucratic challenges that I had, it is bureaucracy, which is a problem, which is with public sector.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And it's in both English and French cultures. It's not just a French thing.
Okay.
Just that the French people already are laid back, so it compounds it. Now, when you go into government institutions, just as in Ghana, the ministries, when you put, you send an application, and you ask for, when am I taking my application? When am I to come for it? They will say, oh, maybe sometime next week or next 2 weeks, or, you know, they will give you not a specific time. And it's a bit like that. And that can be frustrating because you need the documentation from one department to move on to the next department. So one output will serve as input for your processing. The fact that you have the visa there does not mean you've been given a stay permit. And the stay permit, every time I entered France, I had to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a thing. Once I think that after the first year, I got used to it. But it was still the whole idea that you put in the application, you have to wait, you have to go back, you have to do your medicals, you have to make your appointments, you have to do that. It's a tough one.
A very tough one. When we are back from this break, which is TWB Nuggets with Baba Okran, we're going to find out how she was able to pull through, finishing her thesis and all of that, and if she would have changed just anything at all from all that experience. Remember, we are here, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. We are here with Dr. Abena Antwi. It's the Writer's Block Talk Show.
This is TWB Nugget. Hello and welcome to TWB Nugget. We have begun talking about how to improve your child's reading and writing skills. We shared that parents and guardians need to be good examples to their children because your love for reading will automatically ignite reading interest in your child. And parents and guardians need to allow their children, especially adolescents, to choose the book they want to read. If they aren't engaged or involved, reading will become a chore rather than a cherished practice. Now, to our tip for today. Maximize reading time. Encourage your child to take a book with them into bed, on a car ride, or anywhere else that they can carve out a little extra time to read. Even if they read just 20 minutes daily, that's 3,600 minutes per school year, exposing them to nearly 2 million words annually. Alternatively, you can leave books in your children's bedroom. That way, they can look at them and enjoy them whenever they want. And that is our tip for today. Tune in next week for another key tip on how to improve your child's reading and writing skill. My name is Baatsona, and bye for now.
There are many who have gone to their graves with untold stories. Stories meant to change and transform lives. Don't let that happen to you. If a story isn't you, it has to come out. It must be told. Do you have an idea or a life-transforming story to share? Do you want to write a book but don't know how? Let the expert writers at Reveal Multimedia help you out. Are you a preacher with a desire to convert your sermons into books and other readable materials? Reveal Multimedia offers efficient and on-time audio-to-text transcription services at at a very affordable price. We also transcribe interviews, documentaries, etc. We offer other editorial services such as editing and proofreading. That's not all. At Review, the author and his or her book are our priority. We are the brain behind the Writer's Blog, a book review program which airs on Sunny FM and Sunny TV, meant to celebrate authors and their works, as well as promote other stakeholders in the publishing industry. We offer PR services for authors with top-notch publicists who create thrilling stories, book reviews and commentaries, organize book launches and related events to provide mileage on all meaningful media platforms for the author and their works. Call on us today to help bring every creative idea to life. For more information, call, text or send a WhatsApp message to 0552 535 036 or 0208 428 322. Send us an email, reviewmultimediagh@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Review Multimedia GH. Our website is www.revealmultimediagh.com. Reveal Multimedia. Dreams come alive.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on the Writer's Blog Talk Show. It's been fun so far. I just wish it won't end. But just remember, it's part 2. No, it's part 1 actually. And it's about 2-3-part series. I'm still trying to check how it's going to all end. But do stay on for the next parts and the next and the next. So remember, this program is powered by Reveal Multimedia Limited. We are into editorial services, editing, proofreading. We do PR for authors. You've written your book, you want it launched. You want it, to be promoted on all social media platforms, the traditional media as well. We've got you covered. Number on your screen, give us a call now. We are here with Dr. Abena Antwi, discussing from her book, Purposeful Chaos. Now, Dr. Antwi, when we ended, we said when we are back, we'll be talking about how your thesis and everything, you're finalizing your stay and your study there. I want you to just read that portion for us from page 133.
All right. And the subheading is celebrated by the Office of the President of France. The period between waiting for feedback on my submitted thesis and the defense was one of the most tense periods of my journey. This period describes the time where the battle between self-confidence and doubt is tested. At this time, I was confident that my research work of 2015 to 2019 was good enough to be presented for assessment and defense. And yet, looking at the profile of the examiners, there was the onset of questions and a tinge of self-doubt about whether the thesis could do with some more work for resubmission at a later date. I remained restless as I waited for the reports from the external examiners from across France to tender in the assessment reports of my work and to give approval for the defense, which date had already been scheduled, but which could be cancelled if they deemed my thesis not worthy of a defense. I will be talking in detail about this process subsequently.
So, subsequently, what happened?
Well, my tensed self started writing this book. Yes, because I was in waiting and it was a crazy time. What are you to do with yourself? Apart from trying to put the structure together for this book, then I went crazy. Going to the shops, shopping. I needed retail therapy. Yes, so I went in buying food, lots of the cakes, lots of shoes, lots of dresses. I mean, of course, you can buy and then return them, right? You can buy and then come and test them, try them on, and then you can return them with your receipts and stuff. So I had a lot of retail therapy, and still it didn't numb the anxiety. It did not numb it because all the years of hard work, it had reached crunch time.
Yeah.
And the profiles of the examiners, very intimidating. Professor, this one, that, and they are not all connected. Okay. So, and one of my examiners is a renowned author, or a renowned specialist in health economics. And so I felt quite inadequate with the work that I had done. Although I knew I'd done a thorough job, but still the questions remained. So it became a prayer thing, it became an eating thing, it became a worrying thing, it was anxiety, a mixture of everything. So eventually when I got notified of my of the first report. And mind you, if there were 3 reports to come, if 2 of them said that your job was not good enough, you couldn't defend.
Well, we ended it right here. Because I want you to stay on to find out, did it all pull through? Did it work? And how was she able to achieve the feat she has as at now? Remember, the part 2 will be back next week, God willing, right here on the Writer's Blog Talk Show. Like we always say, the Writer's Blog, read, write, indulge your mind.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I love books and enjoy reading. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is to read. If I go for a run, I listen to an audiobook. In my leisure moments, I read whilst enjoying some good music. Are you an avid reader, or you're not learning how to read? Maybe you used to enjoy reading, but somehow it has become a thing of the past. Come on this journey with my guests and I as we dive into various books and themes these books talk about. Every week, I speak to various authors who are behind life-transforming books, as well as promote various stakeholders within the publishing industry. The Kiddie Zone segment on the show is meant specifically to ignite reading interest in your child. Watch the Writer's Blog on this station this and every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. and on Sunny 88.7 FM every Saturday at 1 p.m. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia and supported by the Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind.
Thank you for watching the Writer's Blog on this channel. If you want to sponsor, partner, advertise, or have your book reviewed on the show, call or send a text or WhatsApp message to, or send an email to, follow us on social media. This program is powered by Reveal Multimedia. Join us next week for another exciting edition. The Writer's Blog. Read, write, indulge your mind.